Hello YouTube, it's Barbara Jean. I'm really struggling here because I've just got so many things in my head that I'm struggling as to how to present what I want to say. Um, I think I'm going to start here though, um, and that is we have to understand who we belong to. Okay, we who are the bride of Christ have to understand who we belong to. This is a real hard concept for most men to understand because they're not women. Women have a easier time understanding what it means to be a bride. Um, Being women, we have to, when you marry, give up your last name. What does that signify? It signifies that you're no longer part of the old family or part of a new family. You now take on the uh, position of your husband. You now take on his authority, in so to speak. You are under his authority. You take on his persona. You are his helpmate in life. And as the bride of Christ, we have to understand whose authority we're under. Um, I want to read from 1 Corinthians, uh, starting at um, verse 9. God is faithful, by whom you were called under the fellowship of his Son, Jesus Christ our Lord. Now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, that you all speak the same thing, and that that there be no divisions among you, that you be perfectly joined together in the same mind and the same judgment. For it is been declared unto me of you, my brethren, by which are of the house of Chloe, that there are contentions among you. Now I say this, that every one of you saith, I am of Paul, and I am of Apollos, I am of Cephas, and I am of Christ. Is Christ divided? Was Paul crucified for you, or were you baptized in the name of Paul? He goes on to talk about how these different factions started because they all started to take on another person's name. Okay? Basically, one says, I'm a Cephas, or I'm a Cephesian, I'm an Apollian. And it's the same thing today. When Christians take on any other name other than that of Christ, we become divided. And this is what's happened in the church to the bride. And it's the satanic, uh, um, satanic tactic because Satan comes in to divide, to cause contention among the body. And how does he do it? He makes someone think, oh well, I'm a Calvinist, I'm a Baptist, I'm a Presbyterian, I'm a Catholic. And all these divisions are man-made under man's authority, by man's rules, and they have taken away our Christian surname. We are under the authority of Christ. Christ is the bridegroom. We are the bride. We have changed our name to his name. As a woman, we understand what that means. Men have a hard time. They want to be the one in authority, and we see it over and over again. They start their churches, they start their divisions, and we start as followers, we all start to go under so-and-so's leadership and so-and-so's ministry. And we kind of forget who the authority really is and whose authority we're under. We're under Christ's authority. We're under his name. And we years ago, the Lord told me never to take on anybody else's name. Never consider, even though when I went to Baptist church, I never considered myself a Baptist. I even attended a Catholic church a few times. I never considered myself Catholic. I attended Pentecostal church services. I never considered myself a Pentecostal. I've always maintained my last name, which is Christian, because he's my bridegroom. And he's your bridegroom. We have to stop this division between us, all of us, by realizing that we are not under the headship of any man. We're not under the headship of John the Baptist. We're not under the headship of Paul. We're not under the headship of Peter. We're under the headship of Jesus Christ. He is our husband, and we have changed our name to his last name. Now, what is his last name? We don't know Jesus' last name. If it's never told, we know Mary and Joseph was his physical parents here on earth. Of course, Joseph being the stepfather. But that is, we don't know his last name. But we do know that Jesus is called the Christ. And we are under his authorities. We can call ourselves Jesusans. It's kind of hard to say. Jesusans, I'm a Jesusan. But Christian, it works pretty good because there's nobody else in the universe that has that last name. Jesus is the Christ. He is the anointed one. He is the only begotten Son of God. And when we put on his last name, we change our nature to his nature. We're not changing our nature to Paul's nature. We're not changing our nature to Peter's nature. We're not changing our nature to Apollos' nature. We're changing our nature to Jesus' nature. We are taking on his nature, his spirit. And as brides, we have to understand whose authority we're under. Okay? I think I'm going to leave it there. Like I said, I'm really confused at this moment because there's so much that's involved in what I want to say to you, and I'm going to have to try and take it in little bites here. But just remember, as the bride of Christ, if you want to be part of the bride of Christ, you must divorce yourself from the authority of man. Get rid of those extra names that someone else has put on you and take on the authority and the name of your husband, which is Jesus Christ. Okay? He is your husband. If you want to be the bride, you must take on his name. You must change your nature. You must become his helpmate. Okay? So I'm going to leave it there, and I'll talk to you later.